Hello everyone, my name is Patricia Repchich. Reflecting on the racial identity development theory for Module 2, I learned a lot about other perspectives I don't think I would have otherwise come across if not for this class and the information provided. My identity is that of a white middle-class woman, and I have grown up in a middle-class, entirely white family. I think my strongest racial influences were that of my small, predominantly white neighborhood where, there was my family, my friends, and almost all of my teachers from pretty much the same background, and also definitely the media. I never had trouble finding dolls to play with or shows to watch where I wouldn't identify with the main character. I usually always did. It wasn't until high school when my friend group had one black friend that I realized the privilege of being white and the gravity behind race. They would refer to him as an Oreo, obviously not a real or sustainable term of use. They were essentially saying that while he was black, the importance of academics and band practice and baseball games hinted at him being white on the inside. It was then that I realized the stark difference between race and how people saw it and how it was ingrained into our system and how it also quietly existed in a lot of my local population. I remember just accepting the term, which is a sign of being in that acceptance stage of racial identity development theory, and I was also never one to speak up about it. Beyond that part of growing up, I was able to recognize myself in other steps of the racial identity theory. As I've gotten older, I have more experiences to account for, and I've certainly witnessed institutionalized racism occurring in classmates, friends, and now the families that I have a chance to work with. When I originally started college, I was at a different university. I went in person and it was massive. I was a business major and we were located in an inner city with a lot of people from different minority backgrounds who were also low income. Yet one of my business teachers required that students wear suits and business casual wear to class, and that's how we would also earn participation points. This made it a lot harder for my friends and my peers who were specifically from the low income and minority backgrounds to get these points. This then led to a domino effect of them not doing the best that they could in this class, and then some of them even switching majors because they couldn't afford these outfits. I also see institutionalized racism with the families that I work with at the nonprofit that I am currently with. The kids that I work with are from varied backgrounds, and they get dropped off after school so that their parents can go back to work. A majority of my families come from a Hispanic background, and also a couple from a black background and a couple from a white background. I find that a lot more often do the kids from the minority backgrounds come and attend the program than do the kids from the white background. I think this speaks to their lower socioeconomic status and the need to work harder and longer days to afford their family needs. My experience in high school with recognizing racism but not speaking out against it also speaks to the developmental stage of early adolescence and my focus on peers and not really wanting to, sway the bucket too much because I wanted to fit in. It really also represents the integrated oppression that is within society through undermining my friend's cultural background and the struggles that came with it. During college, I was on that teetering line of adolescence or late adolescence and early adulthood. I think I aligned more closely with the retreat step of racial identity theory during this time, as I was able to recognize the racism, and I was also angry that, other people who were from the majority background, from the white background, were so sheltered and didn't care about the issues happening, not to us, but around us. I believe moving out of my town and into a more diverse area also helped with this push, especially considering the identity versus role confusion conflict that I was dealing with at the time and kind of finding where I fit in and meeting a lot of new groups of people from different backgrounds. I think it's also important to point out that during this time was when the Black Lives Movement started, and that really put institutionalized racism on the big screen and then made the realization that current racism and oppression exists within our systems, and it was very apparent to anyone and everyone. Currently, I am at the young adulthood stage of development and facing that intimacy versus isolation battle. I find that interacting more with the families that I help with is both helping me with that battle by, creating those relationships and really feeling integrated in my community more. but it's also pushing me to the emergent stage of racial identity theory. By interacting with them, I'm becoming more knowledgeable and conscientious of the issues they face, and I'm also thinking of ways to help them. We are all, as social workers, in a unique position to help change the internal racism present in public systems from the inside out using critical race theory. One small way I plan on using the CRT theory is during my internship, where I will be writing and delivering a curriculum based around empowering young Hispanic girls. I think it's important to create a lesson that both uses their culture and recognizes the ways in which the infrastructure has or will fight against them, and then providing resources that they can use to fight against that in turn, including using me as a resource and also opening up about my own experience with white privilege. By utilizing CRT in this instance, I will be opening an honest, non-judgmental dialogue around actual race issues with those who experience them. Per Kolovsky et al.'s CRT Opportunities for Application in Social Work Practice and Policy, I can utilize these conversations to consistently evolve my own state of mind and also to bring back to my colleagues for a deeper understanding and more conversations around how to change the current framework that is quite obviously not working. Finally, if I could go back to that time in high school and replicate it now, I wouldn't be so quiet. I definitely would have fought against the idea that simply being good at school and loving extracurriculums are white ideals and not the signs of an intelligent, well-rounded student, which they clearly are. I also think it would be important in that instance to note how the term Oreo was delivered as a supposed affectionate term, but in reality, it was only blatant racism that furthered stereotypes and only hurt our friend. In closing, learning about these theories has given me insight to how much racism is present in our system and in every facet of society. While I'm upset that this is a sign of the times we are living in our harsh reality, it does invigorate me to do better for the people that I work with and to recognize and challenge the racism I encounter on every level of social work and in every capacity of my social work ventures. Treating my clients with equity and not equality is paramount in social work practice for diverse populations, as each culture and experience both offer something for us to learn, and also they need something different that must be addressed. So I hope that we all have learned something during this module, and that this class is aiding us in our well-rounded journey to become a very effective social worker. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great day.